Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Hi!
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Mortgage Group. I've been teaching here at Guerin Catholic for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Guerin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari, and any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Guerin Catholic Sports on IndianaSRN,
where you're always in the game.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at ReynoldsFarmEquipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with India as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to Pure Spirits. to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Mortgage Group. I've been teaching here at Guerin Catholic for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Guerin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari. And any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Guerin Catholic Sports on IndianaSRN,
where you're always in the game.
And a happy Friday evening to you. We're presenting Lacrosse and the only place you can find it, IndianaSRN. Tonight we have a titanic matchup between the Royals of Hamilton Southeastern and the Greyhounds of Carmel High School. This is a rematch, folks, of the 2A state championship from last year where HSC was victorious, 10-6. And we'll see who's prepared for a W tonight. This broadcast is brought to you by our partners, Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Bertner Electric, your licensed and experienced electricians serving Central Indiana. IUPUI Sports Management, a lifetime of sports with a winning degree. Piper Logistics, 3 services, 1 solution. And Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Hello, everyone. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Well, Troy, there's no love lost between either of these teams. We know that they're starting to rise as the storied rivals of this state, especially in Class 2A. What do you see? What do you expect to see between the boxes tonight?
Well, you don't need me to tell you a whole lot about anything when you think about these two programs. And as you alluded to a little bit ago, we were here when they won a state championship, speaking of Hamilton Southeastern beating Carmel. And they remember that day as well, especially if you're on the losing side of things. You want to come back, and especially when you think about an early season matchup like this between these two programs, it is going to be huge to see which one comes out of here with a win, because if you're Carmel, you have something to prove. So you know what? I know you got us in the state championship last year, but it's a new year. We feel maybe we can be the top dogs this year. On the other side, it's a proven program. They've won a couple of state championships over the last few years. When you speak of Hamilton Southeastern, it's on their home field. They feel good about their start, even though they've lost a couple of matchups to some very, very good teams early. So don't let those scores really fool you too much, because they played some quality competition in their first couple of games of the season. So this one's going to be interesting to see how this thing comes down to the end. You're right. They don't care about each other at all. They know each other very well, and sometimes that's what makes a great rivalry, because they played together before in probably club teams and things like that. So it's going to be fun to watch throughout the entire night.
That's right. Playing together since a lot of these kids were 10 and 12 years old, playing in similar districts, and they know each other's game, and that's what makes this so exciting. Hamilton Southeastern was 2-0 against this Carmel squad last year, having won their first matchup against Carmel 8-3, and then last year again, of course, in the state championship. And obviously both these teams looking to make a run. We talked to both coaches, and Jack Beecham says his guys are fired up. They're tired of having this monkey on their back of the Royals. They got those guys in the white jerseys tonight, but they're off to this 2-0 hot start, and that's just goes to show you how storied this rivalry is becoming.
Well, when both teams are coming out, you noticed how they ran together for a while, and then Hamilton Southeastern kind of bypassed them, a little more energy as they were heading out to midfield.
You think a little bit of symbolism?
I would say I'd look over my left shoulder if I was Carmel, seeing them come out and saying, you know what, they're not exactly showing us up or anything like that, but they're going to make a statement maybe early in this one that, listen, you're on our home turf, and we're still going to defend it like we're the defending state champions. And so I'm not really too surprised by that either. You're 2-0, but again, that old cliche about records can be thrown out the window. I think that can be the case here tonight. It's so early in the season. They're going to meet each other, I have a feeling, sometime down the road again. But you want to also make that statement saying, hey, remember when we beat you back in March, we plan on doing it again here wherever we might meet if it's in the state playoffs.
This is the litmus test here in the state of Indiana. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break here on IndianaSRN. Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Well, Troy, let's dive in to this Carmel Greyhound squad. We mentioned it before we went to break. 2 wins and 0 losses to start out the season, exactly as scheduled. They defeated Fishers on Tuesday night, 15-7, in large part due to the efforts of Kyle Fedorcha, the Bryant commit. He had 7 goals in that game, and he's really the one that runs this entire offense for this group.
And he is, and he's got a lot of help, and I know we'll talk more about that in a moment, but you know what I think the most when I think about Carmel right now is defense, and that's what their coach talked about too. We are strong because of what we're able to do on defense. He only gave up 2 to Burbuff. They gave up 7 to Fishers. But again, Fedorcha's the guy. You're right. He commits to Bryant. Very good school there. Those 7 goals against Fishers, and you think about 7 goals in any sport, that's huge. And so he's going to be the guy going into this one here tonight. Hamilton Southeastern knows that too. We talked about that in previous games we've done where you're going to keep an eye on him no matter where he goes. He's going to be shadowed somewhere on the field, because if I'm Hamilton Southeastern, I'm not going to let him beat me. I'm going to try to get it over to somebody else. And they've got some other pieces. When you talk about Jake Klein, keep a number 4. Keep an eye on him tonight. 5 goals, 7 assists. They pass extremely well. He'll be a big key here tonight. And then, of course, Mason Bardwell, number 27. He's committed to Vermont. I know you had a chance to talk with their coach a little bit about him and how strong he is. Those are 3 very, very solid offensive players that they're going to look forward to here tonight. But then Ethan Hall, their goalie, and again, you know me, you've been around me long enough. I'm a defensive guy, even in basketball. I love defense. I like to shut people down, because even if I struggle on offense, I always know that if my defense can keep me in a game, I can win. And this guy right now has only given up 9 goals, 7 saves so far this year. He's a 2-year captain. He takes a lot of pride in what he does down there in the cage. I think he'll be one of the biggest keys here tonight.
Another player to mention that is out tonight with an injured elbow, Matthew Rogers, their leading attackman from last year statistically. He's a guy that if you lose him, that does bite a little bit. That kind of hurts a little bit. But at the same time, those guys you mentioned, Ryan Klein and Kyle Fedorcha, are going to be leading the way, both shooting above 30% right now. And Mason Bardwell, the Vermont commit, who just had a huge win last week, by the way, in NC2A. He's the type of guy, best defender. He's creating 4 turnovers a game right now. Granted, they've only had 2 games, right? So pretty good average to start out. Let's talk about Hamilton Southeastern before the national anthem here. So they've got quite a lot of talent, obviously, but they don't return a ton of their seniors or a ton of their team from last year. This is more of a group that is relatively inexperienced, and we've seen that. They had 3 scrimmages against some out-of-state teams, followed by St. Ignatius for their first regular season game, in a game which they lost 6-12.
Well, if you want to find out where you are early, you play good teams, and that's exactly what they did, because as you said, they lose so many players from last year. And I hate to use that word replace, because that's really not what you're doing. You're just fitting in some pieces here or there that are going to make your team somewhat successful maybe early in the season. Your thought process, even though you want to win this one here tonight, is really not how good you are now, but how good you're going to be at the end of the year when playoff time comes around and they're really starting to roll. And I think that's going to be the case here tonight. They want to make this maybe a building block and then start from there. And they've got some guys that are going to certainly be a key tonight. You look at Garrett Smith, you talk about Quincy Grace, a couple of guys that you're going to watch here tonight. Nolan Canese is another guy. He's a 3-time captain of this team. And these guys know what it's like to win, because even though some of them may not have played big minutes last year, they were still part of a state championship team.
And they are hoping to make that run, and they're going to have to find what they're made of against their rival Carmel tonight. We'll be right back after this national anthem.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy, Darren Gowski, Carmel, and HSE are getting set for this Titanic matchup tonight. A rematch of the 2A state championship. 4 quarters of 12 minutes. What we're getting ready for here in Fishers. Thanks so much for being with us. Facing off for Carmel will be Jacob Katz. He's returning. Last year it was 70% face-off man. This year he's winning at a clip of 79%. So he is not only consistent, but he's getting better, Troy. And he's going to have a tough matchup for Hamilton Southeastern in Gavin Wright, number 25, beg your pardon. And no matter what you look at, face-off has always been an important part of lacrosse.
Yeah.
And why is that? I mean, it gets your possession started or what have you, but it's got to be momentum too.
Well, not only that, it gives you that opportunity to score right off the bat if you possibly can. Number 2, the more face-offs you get, the more possessions you get, and the more opportunities you get to score. And I know we think, well, they face off, what's the big deal? I think that's a huge, huge factor. We saw that last year in the state championship matchups and all the games that we did. The face-off was vitally important, and I think that's going to be a huge key here again tonight.
So both coaches actually flipped this on us. Ian Bones is going to be facing off for Hamilton Southeastern, and Quincy Grace is going to be facing off for Carmel. Grace handles that one well. And Carmel will begin their possession.
Well, you know what? I'm looking early, and I watch a lot of things off ball, and I know that your job is to watch on ball. But the one thing I'm going to watch here early is how amped up both these teams are. You know, passing's going to be a big key. Not turning it over will be a big key early. And against it, when you're playing these two teams against each other, sometimes you got to let your emotions kind of settle down early in the game.
Catching up with Coach Meacham, he said a big part of what their game plan is going to be today is staying aggressive on the Hamilton Southeastern defense. A lot of movement off ball for Carmel so far. Ripped up the top. That one is saved by Kreckler. Kreckler is a huge piece of the puzzle for Hamilton Southeastern.
Yeah, he took that off the bounce, and that was a skip that was right in front of him. Great reaction time. Did a nice job getting the save.
Coach Beasley affectionate about his goaltender, saying he's the best goalkeeper in the state. That's going to be a push with possession. Loudon Sundling was carrying the ball, and Carmel's defenders were all over him.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Joey, this thing's going to be physical. You saw that right there. When they got in a really big group, there was a lot of shoving going on during that little scrum right there. It's going to be fun to watch, see how they control this the rest of the way.
Like we said, no love lost between these two teams. So, guilty party for Carmel was number 3, Sinus Lawson.
You know, I don't mind that at all. I'll tell you what, I will take aggressive and not be passive, really make that offensive player think about where I am at on the field and make that my territory.
Cross pass at the door. Hamilton Southeastern's on the board first. Michael Mataliano.
Well, he's one of the guys you talk about when you look at an early portion of the season, the Lander University recruit. Couple of goals early, and that was just a great pass from the right wing, and the goalkeeper could not get over in time and had to make that turn really quick, and by the time he did, the goal was already scored.
Senior attacker Michael Mataliano, his first goal.
You know, I think we found out early that maybe even though that Hamilton Southeastern lost a lot of key players from last year's team, guess what? They got a lot of guys who can still play this game and played very well.
Jacob Katz scooping and gaining possession initially, but somehow I think that ball just fell right into the stick there of Bones. picking it up and replacing, beg your pardon, placing yourself and trying to get across. There would be a failure to advance if he continued that possession, but Carmel is going to take over.
You'll see Carmel, what we saw in the first face-off, they want to get down quickly. And the second time around, they won the face-off, lost it, but they want to get this thing in a little more up pace. And especially when you're talking about any attacking third that they can get into and then work from there.
Anytime you're 30 and in the box, it's going to be good for you if you're Carmel, especially in transition. Short stick defensive midfielder. Dylan O'Rourke working on him. On top, here's Klein.
Well, right now, that Hamilton Southeastern defense, you talked about that a little bit ago, want to push that Carmel offense out away from the cage as far as they can, and you see them working behind now, which certainly is one of their strengths for Carmel. We'll see how they can execute their offense from here.
Fedorcha loves working from X. Jake Klein with a rip. Ties the game up.
Well, it was that work behind the cage, and they found Klein open out top, and that was a great execution. We just talked about that, how they're going to execute behind the cage, and they did it exactly the way they wanted to.
Slide was a bit late for HSE, and it was all the time in the world for Jake Klein.
Joe, I was thinking maybe this would be a low-scoring affair. Now I'm not so sure that we're 1-1 with 9:21 to go. This might be a little bit more than we thought it would be.
This is the heated action we were hoping for when you see these two teams square off.
By the way, we're getting lucky, too. I mean, we got the rain coming down here, but we're expecting maybe some thunderstorms. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen and any delays here tonight. But the rain could be a little bit of a factor here tonight as well.
That's 3 for 3 off the bounce for Jacob Katz.
I think Carmel's going to get a timeout.
Yeah, Jack Meacham's going to take a timeout. We'll take one with him. You're watching high school lacrosse on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Well, this has been a tightly contested ball game so far. And I think, Troy, what we're seeing right now is the effect of sort of the big brother mentality that Hamilton Southeastern has had over the last couple of years. They've been winning consistently over Carmel, and I think Carmel's kind of had enough. But this is an aggressive form of lacrosse we're seeing from both sides.
You know, and you're right, and I think what you're going to see is that physicality is going to continue. I thought that was a really good time out there for Carmel, get themselves back together here, because they've had a couple of opportunities where just like there, they had to turnover, and they got to be able to hold on and make sure they get in transition.
Retzner was looking ahead to Garrett Smith. Ball was a bit too high for him. But you're right, if you can continue that and be in control of your clears, unlike that, and not force those mistakes. I mean, Bardwell doesn't even know where the ball is, unfortunately, on that one for Carmel.
Well, now, and again, a lot of these teams, you play a lot of your matches during the day. In fact, you come right back tomorrow, Hamilton Southeastern, play at a 1 o'clock matchup. It's different playing under the lights than it would be during the daytime, so seeing the ball is going to be a little bit different than it will be during the day.
Here's Sundling up top. Large aspect of this offense is attacking the defense with the midfield power of Runo and Sundling. 15 and 17 are the numbers to look for. Runo, a good shot attempt. It sails on him.
Well, I thought that was really good defense by Huber there. He really kept with it. Had a different angle on that shot than probably what he really wanted to get, but it was because of that Carmel defense.
Losing the ball at X as Metaliano had the goal earlier to get us started. And the scrum down there fighting for the ground ball. No one's going to get it. It's going to be off of Italiano, and Carmel's going to get a chance to clear.
You know, neither team's been really clean when you think about handling the ball early. And Carmel may be a little bit more than Hamilton Southeastern. They lost a couple that really you wouldn't expect. I know it's still early in the season, so you got to take that into consideration as you see a big hit right there. But got to be clean on your possessions.
Shane Gastineau was the one laying the wood on the ride there.
You know, I'll tell you what, you know as well as anybody, you played football at Butler, that physicality can be really big from a mindset. When you lay on a good hit on somebody and you remind them how many times you've hit them, that can be a big difference in their execution offensively.
And I will say in lacrosse, too, it has to have a bigger impact because you're not getting hit every play.
That's right.
Turnover here by HSE. It's going to be picked up by Carmel and lost again.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, Joy, to make another advancement, which they wanted to do. They want to get out and run a little bit more, but you got to be clean, and they haven't been clean in several possessions.
Gastineau. What a shot. Shane Gastineau gets his first of the night.
Well, I'm not sure if Ethan Hall thought that was going to be a low shot, but it looked like his reaction time coming up was not very good. And if you're going to play this game, a lot of times the best thing to do is shoot high because it's harder to get up than to go back down, and that's what Hall tried to do. He just couldn't get his stick up high enough and fast enough.
Gastineau's third goal on the season. Officially, because they had quite a few scrimmages, but all the official stats we have, 2 games.
Yeah, for Hall, it's the 11th goal he's given up now this year. He only given up 9 coming in, so he's already given up 2 today. They're really going to have to be much better in goal here the rest of the way.
Full head of steam is Carmel.
See, I thought it was a wise play there. Nothing there. You don't need to force it. We're still really, really early in this contest. Get back out, reset it. But now you see that Hamilton Southeastern defense chasing and trying to force them even out further.
Great defensive play in the midfield. 2 Carmel players running into each other. Quincy Grace with the initial disruption. There's going to be a loose ball push, meaning that there was no possession for either team and a player push. But quick start, Gastineau. Hamilton Southeastern takes a 3-1 lead.
Well, Carmel had a little bit of a line change right there, and they could not get one of the defensive players on in time, and they were down a man. I saw him coming on. They were trying to go as fast as they could, and it cost them a goal right there.
Carmel looks a bit out of sorts right now in their clear and transition game.
They are. They're not real clean, as we mentioned a little bit ago. They've had opportunities, and when you want to run and you want to get in transition and get into that attacking third at the other end, you've really got to do a much better job, and they got pushed out. In fact, they did a good job of getting in position, and they came back and reset, but all of a sudden they were out near the 50-yard line, and after that it was all downhill, and then Hamilton Southeastern able to get their third goal.
Large bright spot in the first 6 minutes for Carmel has been the face-offs. That's Cat's 5th win, excuse me.
But you see again, you're winning the face-off, but then you're not able to do anything once you get it across midfield and get it down to about the 30, maybe the 20-yard line, and then all of a sudden you're back out near midfield.
Right. And for those who are new to lacrosse, when you enter that 30-yard marker, there's a gray line there you can see on your screen where Fedorcha just entered, where you gain a new shot clock once you start your possession, but it does not restart once you leave and then enter again. This is going to be offsides there for, looks like Carmel, given that HSE takes possession.
Yeah, Carmel made another change in their defensive side of the ball here. Again, you got to look at what Carmel was doing right there. They just looked out of sync once they got back into their offensive set. There just wasn't anything there to build on.
A correction, that was actually an over and back. Similar to basketball, once you have the possession, you can't answer back, unless the ball is loose.
Boy, I like the patience right here. There was nothing behind the cage. Worked it back outside, go on the attack from the top.
Saved by Hall. I think that one did get the deflection. Shot by Caleb Johnson. Well, still going according to Scott Beasley's plan. Attacking from the top and X. Great defensive work there. Mike Kolick. And that one ball is going to ricochet out.
Yeah, he was going down on that shot. Really wasn't a great angle either. I don't know if we could see it again, but the bottom line is his angle was very good. But the good news is you're going to get another chance.
Loudon Sundling from behind X. Not his usual spot, but his game has improved so much from last year. Coach Beasley singing his praises for the senior.
Ooh.
That one over the top. That was Sundling.
Well, I thought that was a pretty good look right there. Just by the time he turned, he got a little shimmy, and that kind of knocked him off balance.
And if you're a defender, that can mean all the difference.
Yeah, it does.
What a shot! Garrett Smith working around the pine. Bardwell was defending him hard, but I mean, had an absolute snipe from number 4.
I really believe that when you talk about the early matchups in when Hamilton Southeastern played some of those teams, whether it was a scrimmage or a game, whatever the case may be, they saw that, you know, what it was going to take to play really, really good teams, and they have Carmel kind of on their heels right now. And I know we still have 4 minutes left in the opening period, but they've kind of set the tone offensively. They can work behind the X. They can work in front. They may not have won many face-offs, but they've been able to defend it very well after that.
Carmel trying to run themselves into a transition offense. Getting double teamed. Charlie Rafalco.
Rain's coming down a little bit harder now, too.
That it is.
You know, I can tell the umbrellas came out a little bit more.
We're cozy in the press box. Carmel working it around. Here's from behind X. Fedorcha. That shot wide of the cage.
Well, that was not a bad look, but again, you have to think about how far Carmel had to take a shot from there. They were 22 yards out before they could get a good look right there. And that's always a tough one, that long range trying to score from that area. It's not going to be easy.
Here's John Kenny up top. Similar to Scott Beasley's strategy, Coach Meacham told us they need to start getting more penetration in this Hamilton Southeastern defense. When you've got guys like Nolan Knies back there who can slide early. Fedorcha. Working against Retzner. Dishes it. And this could be trouble for Carmel. Trying to get some backup, they do. Headed for that ground ball was Quinn Huber, and that's going to be out of bounds. Hamilton Southeastern takes possession.
Well, another Carmel possession where it came up empty. Looked like it might be promising early, but then they got shoved out, and then once they made that pass, and they haven't been clean here tonight, and that's the one thing that we've emphasized the most is they just haven't been clean in a lot of their attacks, and that pass was out of the range right there again, so they got to find a way to clean that up.
Italiano back to Garrett Smith behind the cage. Senior is committed to Ohio Western University. He was first-team all-conference last season. And he's one of the captains and largely considered the leader of this offense. Here's Sundling. Gets hit as he shoots. The player closest to the line where the shot follows gains possession for their team. Garrett Smith was there for Hamilton Southeastern. Bruno.
Ooh.
Man, we haven't seen them play since last June, but his shot has gotten so much faster.
Yeah, he wasn't off by much. I'll tell you what, he had in fact, nobody was around him when he made that shot. He almost made this a 5-1 contest. See, I like their patience right now. Set it back up, make that defense work around the cage, keep them off balance.
Great turnover and stick check. Mike Kolick got in the way there of Italiano, and Carmel's going to be getting there clear.
Carmel could really use something right here. If they can make this 4-2 going into period number 2, I think they'd feel pretty good about it, especially since their attack has been, well, not very effective. Other than the one goal they've had, everything else has just hasn't been there for them so far.
And on that goal, we saw them move very efficiently off ball, right? I mean, that was one thing you pointed out was, man, you could tell when they're trying to move and get Hamilton Southeastern off balance, and then they just took a shot from about 15 yards out.
You know, I don't know how many times, Joe, you watch basketball and you watch them play as you see an attempt right there, and they needed a goal and they got one.
That they did. John Kenny, senior midfielder, gets Carmel within 2.
I was about ready to say the one thing about it is we talk so much about the guy with the ball, but what about movement without the ball? And a lot of times you see in basketball 4 guys standing, 1 guy playing, and Carmel's better when they've got everybody moving and not watching what is happening either behind the cage or on one side or the other. You got to be moving and make sure that defense is shifting and keeping their head turned and really keep them on their toes.
That's Hamilton Southeastern's first face-off win. Good job by Ian Bones, and then Hayden Grace to pick that one up from the long stick midi position. They lost an All-American and tied a splinter from last season, so that's a big role that they needed to fill, and Hayden Grace got his name called up. He's the starting LSM. That was a great nifty pass by Grace. Tried to get it up to Gavin Wright, and Hamilton Southeastern will gain possession.
Well, they're going to have to hurry 10 seconds on the clock.
And they're going to take a timeout to deliberate, Troy. We'll take one with them. Very short break. 10 seconds left in the first quarter here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Never miss a game on IndianaSRN.org, and follow us and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, IndianaSRN. Well, this has been an aggressive battle in this first quarter. 8 seconds to go. Hamilton Southeastern is going to set up here following the goal by John Kenny for Carmel.
Well, Joe, you know they got a timeout. They have something set up from this timeout to try to get a quick score.
Garrett Smith, defended by Bardwell. That one's going to go to nobody, and it's going to run out our first quarter. 4-2 our score. Hamilton Southeastern Royals lead the Carmel Greyhounds. You're watching IndianaSRN Lacrosse. We'll be right back.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Our count so far, 4-2 for the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. At the face-off X, Jacob Katz has 5 wins to Ian Bones' 1. And that's been special for Carmel to gain possession, but they really haven't done a whole lot with it yet, Troy.
Yeah, it's like getting the opening tip at the basketball game, and the next thing you know, you'll hold it for 10 seconds. The other team takes off with it. You can win all the tips you want, but you got to do something with it. And I thought that Carmel finished it out a lot stronger, which they did. And I think that if you're Carmel, the amount of mistakes they made in that first quarter, and you're only down by 2, I think you feel pretty good about that. I know they don't care about moral victories, but I would feel good about that myself, because they really, from a possession standpoint, at times looked discombobulated. If you don't like that word, you can use another one, but I thought they were discombobulated a little bit. Hamilton Southeastern took advantage of their mistakes. I thought they worked great behind the cage, got a couple of goals working behind the cage, and so now both teams are regrouping a little bit, and I hate to see them leaving here, because that tells me that something weather-wise is up.
We've just been informed there has been a lightning delay for lightning in the area. Protocol is 30-minute break, so we will get back to you
I'm right behind you.
5 minutes before game time resumes to start the second quarter. This is part of it when you're playing with metal poles, Troy.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. And I tell you what, though, from a player's standpoint and a coach's standpoint, if you feel like you're Hamilton Southeastern, you're playing fairly well, and certainly 4 goals I'll take against a good Carmel team that you hate to go to the locker room. It's like in any other sport, if you're playing well in the first half, you hate to see that locker room come, but it's part of the game. Safety's the importance here, and making sure that, again, when weather's in the air, of course, I made the mistake of mentioning we might be getting lucky and not having it, and here it is.
Could
so
be
now
the
you
worst
gotta deal with
broadcaster
it.
jinx of all time.
I probably am, yeah.
Just messing, of course. But nonetheless, we will be back with you with 5 minutes to go prior to our second quarter beginning. So hang tight. 25 minutes from now, back here on Indiana SRN, the only place you can find high school lacrosse in the state of Indiana.
Sideways or anything, so I'm not too worried about it. Well, I'm glad we're at a press conference again. I don't blame you. We had a link advisory at the beginning of the year. That was real beginning. It was probably September, August. And we had 3 consecutive weather delays. We're going to end up starting back again. Oh my god. I think I heard of a couple football games this year where people didn't get home until like I mean, yeah, they're not all home. Especially if I play tomorrow. It's 1 o'clock. Okay.
us to do it back and forth or no? No, we don't need to.
So you got it?
Yeah, I'll just do it.
Okay.
Hello from all of us at IndianaSRN. We are so disappointed to say that we will not be able to continue our broadcast tonight due to the lightning delays in the area out here in Fishers. This game will be postponed for another date, TBD. Thanks so much for being with us for that first quarter. It was 4-2, and both teams were competitive. This was a no-love, lost type of battle between Hamilton Southeastern and Carmel. So it'll have to wait. The excitement will just have to be postponed, and we will see you next time here on IndianaSRN, the only network where you can find high school lacrosse in the state of Indiana. Take care and stay dry.